Hey guys, Reed, Fused Auto Electrical. Behind me is our brand new Work and Play Ranger. We've obviously recently finished this one. You've probably seen some stuff on our Instagram. Today we're going to go for a full in-depth walkthrough and break down some of the cool features of this vehicle. Starting from the front, we've got an off-road animal front bar, nice lightweight front bar. Obviously we haven't gone for the hoops in an effort to keep weight down. Gives us a good spot to mount our spotlights and our winch in the front. So we've run a carbon off-road 12K winch, and we've got the Nava EX2 spotlights. These do have a daytime running light in them, and they are an RGB runner as well. So we don't have the RGB side connected, just a nice white, clean looking daytime runner. On the front left, you can see we've got our GME aerial mounted up on top of the bonnet. GME, obviously being an Australian made product, is really where it's at in this four-wheel drive and touring space. Paired with an XRS 370 UHF, it's a really good combo. Very common combo, but that's because it works. It does its job well. Up on the roof, you can see we've got a 40-inch light force light bar. We custom make our brackets to suit those platforms. We tuck them right up nice and high. And it also just creates a good way to sort of cut a bit of that wind noise out. And then obviously it just looks really tidy and professional. We've gone for the Safari snorkel. These are our choice. As far as induction noise, obviously these smaller motors, they've got a lot of turbo, a lot of boost pressure wound into them. So those turbos are working really hard. Using the Safari snorkel, you still get a little bit of induction sound, but it's definitely a lot better than any of your stainless stuff. The stainless ones look great, so do the Safari, but for this project I've chosen the Safari snorkel, just based on those reasons. It's just a bit quieter, a bit more comfortable. I really like the look of them as well personally, but that's a personal preference thing. We've gone for ROH 17x9 Assault wheels. We've got Yokohama geo-landed tyres, the Geo16s. They're an awesome tyre. I've run them on previous vehicles, and we do a lot of them for the customers as well. They're a really nice performing tyre. They're quiet. They have plenty of traction in the rain. I really can't fault these tyres, and it's definitely going to be our go-to. Suspension-wise, we've gone for Dobinson's remote res suspension with a full 2-inch lift front and rear, keeping this fully legal and compliant. We've got a 60 to 80 kilo spring rating up in the front to handle the weight of the front bar and the winch, with the 500 constant in the rear. As part of their GVM kits for the XLT ranges and above, we can offer a full GVM upgrade as well. Takes up to a bit over 3,700 kilos as well, which is plenty of weight for one of these utes to run around in. Up on the roof, we've got obviously another Rhino-Rack platform. Again, one of the main reasons we're using these is just the aftermarket versatility. Nearly every accessory fits them. Makes it really easy if you want to add anything on yourself, or we can obviously do it at the time of the build. That's no dramas as well. Our most common go-to is going to be a set of rock lights paired on each side, so 2 left, 2 right, and then 2 at the rear of the vehicle. A couple of big benefits to these lights, paired with some of our switching systems, these can be fully dimmable. So we can do a 3-stage dimming depending on our control system, or we can go for a full variable pulse width modulation control, which takes us right down through a very, very broad range, gets it really dull, and then can come right back up to full brightness as well. One of the things I'm most excited about on this Ranger build is our new switch panel. So these are a keypad that are made in Italy. The IP67, IP69 rated, water submersible up to 1 meter. Really high tech unit. The icons, we have more than 3,000 icons to choose from. Icons are laser etched and then UV protected over the laser etching. The silicon outer layer as well is also UV protected. So that whole unit is going to handle those conditions there on the headboard with no dramas. Using these switches, we have dimmable lighting options. We can control our work lighting with dimmable functions. We have scroll functions, momentary functions, so we can control airbags, inflate and deflate. We even have scroll functions which we can use for the high beam. So for instance, for a set of spotlights and a light bar on the roof, you can use the same switch to switch at different times. First press will be for spotlights, second press will be for light bar, third press will bring on both together, and then the fourth press will be turned off. We do have a H-bridge circuit in this unit as well, so we have 2 variants. In this system with the H-bridge circuit means we can control the motor. So we're going to have a flag, or we have a flag for the roof of this vehicle for when we need to be on site, so that we can push a button, it's a beacon switch. First press is going to be the beacon, second press lifts the flag up electrically and actually allows you onto site. Third press will then turn the beacon off and drop the flag. Really handy feature, these tie in through the vehicle CAN bus network as well. So there's no more picking up high beams, picking up ignition supplies, picking up reverse or park lights or this and that, and having 10 different inputs to control all of these circuits. We pick up off 2 wires, we tap into the vehicle CAN bus network, and we can actually get all of those signals through that CAN system as well. So it saves on installation time, it reduces complexity, There is less intrusive wiring into the vehicle systems, and it makes an overall more functional and more versatile unit that we have a huge range of control over different lighting and variable accessories across the vehicle. Up on the roof, you can see we've got our Bush Company AX27 and our 270 XT Max awning. This is obviously set up as we would for a weekend away. My partner and I did just get back. We've had a weekend away up at Tiwa Beach. This is our go-to for those days. Makes it a really nice, easy setup. Camp sets up in 5 minutes, not even. You've got plenty of shade, plenty of coverage, and the pack-up time is just as easy. It's less than 5 minutes to set up and pack up the whole thing. Really nice system. Best thing about the Bush Company tents, the AX27, is we can actually fit all of your bedding in there and leave it in the tent. So if you are doing a bit of touring where you're packing up and setting up at different locations every day, you don't have to drag that bedding out, fire it back in the ute where it's going to get dirty, get wet, get muddy. You just leave it in the tent, drop the tent down and off you go. Makes for a really easy install. Up on top we have 360 watts of solar. Plenty going into those batteries to replenish them through the day. Obviously inside this canopy, which we'll get to shortly, we've got a pretty big power system. So that's a big benefit having those up there. And then obviously using the Bush Company brackets, it's a really nice, tidy installation. The tent themselves have like a really nice extrusion across the top, so we can actually bolt into that extrusion. We don't have to drill holes through the tent, which create obviously room for water ingress, dust ingress, and other issues that then arise from there. And we also don't have to penetrate that powder coat, so you get fantastic rust and corrosion properties there that obviously you then don't have to go and compromise. Moving into the canopy now, we'll go through a power system. It's quite a complex system, but to the eye, there's not going to be a lot to see. It's kind of the way that we like to do things, being that it is work and play. So we're going to go through the canopy now. Obviously, as I said, nice, empty, clean wall. You notice there's not everything hanging off it. You don't have all your expensive electronics there in the way for damage, for loose components that don't get tied down properly. So in my unit, I've obviously opted for quite a simple sort of setup. I haven't gone for the upright fridge and the slide out kitchen because I do need that versatility between work and play. So we've gone for quite a large drawer system. Now these are a heavy 200 kilo load rated slide and they are lockable as well. So you've obviously got quite a large drawer with a slide out table underneath. Table locks out, makes it a very nice space for any of your camping, for cooking. Even if you are working out of it, you can keep your tools and different accessories in here, pull them out straight onto the bench. Gives you a nice little workspace to sort of unload everything as you need for the jobs. Something we're pretty proud of, guys, is going to be our location for our Red Arc Red Vision screen. This is really quite a central location. It gives us all of our battery data, so state of charge, battery percentage, charging currents in and out of the battery, and estimated run times. Further to that, we can also add in water tank level sensors, depending on the water tank that you go for in the vehicle setup. And then another one that's a big one is actually going to be all of our accessory control around the vehicle, so all of our electrical accessory control. So from here, this actually controls power supply to our fridge, accessory sockets, it does water pump, all of our work lighting around the platform, and obviously inside the canopy as well. It does our rear lighting and our rock lights underneath, controls power up to the tent above us. So a really handy feature to have that there. As far as what we can do with it, using the Rogue system that we've sort of paired with this Red Vision screen as well, we can actually tie in and do dimmable lighting. So the strip lighting you see above my head, we can control that through the screen to actually dim it right down, and then obviously take it right back up as well. So really nice if you are sitting around a campsite. You know, you can dial that light right down to actually give you a nice amount of light. Paired from here, we can obviously control the compressor down underneath, as you heard from there. And scrolling through, we've got various different channel outputs as well. One being the water pump, which actually gives us an outlet at the back of the vehicle. Obviously, the way that we've done this, it ties in with our switching on the headboard. So we can actually control our work lighting here from this screen, the headboard switching, and from inside the vehicle. It's dimmable from all of those locations as well. And then depending on what you've got in your vehicle, we can actually control a whole another range of accessories as well. So we can really tailor these to suit you and your requirements, and then your vehicle and vehicle type as well. So very handy feature. We have, again, on this one, momentary button or latching. So it's either on off, or you need to push it on and hold it on for the things like airbags or anything like that that doesn't require a constant power supply, but something that you need to have control over. So something that we've done for this one that we're pretty stoked on is actually the housing that we've made. So we've custom fabricated this in-house. This is going to be one of our own catalogued parts that we can then do with any GCI Traytec canopies. So this is obviously all professionally powder coated. It's color matched to suit the canopy. but being mounted up here, it's out of the way from damage on the headboard. I know how it goes on a Friday afternoon. Everyone fires the stuff in. Does not get tied down very well, so it gets it up out of the way from damage. And it also gives it a really nice, easy location to sort of get a full view on access. Height, obviously, I'm not a short person, but at the same time, for me, it's very easy. My partner, she's a fair bit shorter than myself. She can still reach it with no dramas as well. We have one of these on both the left and right doors. That's probably a little bit more than what most people are going to require, unless you sort of want to be, you know, at the top and have ultimate control. I can tell you, it is a treat that is very nice to have. One thing you will notice, obviously, in this Canopy, there's not a whole lot of flash stuff to look at. There is a very complex system in here, but it's all mounted in behind this panel. So any of our circuit protection that would need to be accessed is accessible. However, the majority of what we've done here is all solid state switching. So once it's set up correctly and done in a professional way, there's no real reason that you should need to access a lot of that stuff. The main time you're going to have an issue is if an actual component fails or if it gets ripped off or damaged if you are doing a bit of four-wheel drive for touring. In those applications, it's going to be pretty obvious where your issue is. You can attend to it, make a temporary fix at that issue, reset it through electrical control side, and then off you go again. You're really ready to roll. One thing that we've done on this is with our power outlets on this headboard, we've just kept it simple with just a dual USB. We've got an Anderson plug outlet and we've got an accessory socket. Most people don't need more than that. On the back end, something we'll cut to some clips on, we've actually got a twin GPO outlet for our 240 outlets, and then obviously a couple more accessory and USB sockets. Don't think most people are going to get stuck requiring more than that, and especially considering all of our lighting is already hardwired and controlled. The only thing we're really plugging into this is, in all honesty, our mobile phones to charge them, and potentially an air blower for any sort of air mattresses. For the 240 side, we have actually got in behind this panel quite a lot going on. So we've got a 2000 watt inverter, we've got a BMS 1230 red arc charging system, we've got 200 amp of lithium, we've got an additional 50 amp charger, DC-DC charger, we've got a red arc TVMS 80 and a TVMS 40. The 80 gives us some higher current output channels, so we've got a couple of 30 amps, I think we've got 5 30 amp output channels with another 5 at 10 amp, and then the Rogue gives us 10 at 10 amp to a maximum combined of 40 amp control. Using the Rogue is what gives us the dimmable functions. The TVMS 40 will take care of a few of our higher loads like Anderson plugs and fridge. Up top I've got a 900 basket. The basket stays in. It's pretty much housing stuff that I don't necessarily need to pull out for Monday to Friday work setup, but it does obviously cater for things that are quite nice to have on the weekend regardless of what's on the roof. The lithium batteries, we've got two 100s. They're going to be both a Bluetooth battery with a Bluetooth BMS, so you can actually pair to them if you didn't have this red arc control system to give you all of your battery voltage, battery percentage, and a state of charge as well. They also give you a fault mode indicator. Now that's a very handy feature if you are out remote and your battery does turn off. It lets you know why it's turned off. So lithium batteries do have a computer in them that will monitor and manage those cells. So doing it that way, having that Bluetooth app just gives you that little bit more reassurance that if you are in a pickle, you've got the tools to get yourself out of it. In the toolbox, we've just gone for an ARB twin compressor. It's plumbed into a Nitto outlet, so it just takes a generic sort of hose fitting. Keeps it nice and easy to use, nice and simple, and very versatile as well. Obviously with the toolbox, we can store our hoses. We've got a Morphlate, which is like a 4-way tire inflation system. It's a really nice, easy system to use. It all fits into that toolbox and keeps it really simple. Nice central location. Having control for the compressor from both the canopy and inside the cab is quite a nice feature. Again, if you are parked up, you don't have to open the vehicle to get that compressor running if you're just blowing up like an inflatable tube. Otherwise, if you are doing your tires, more often than not, you're running the vehicle, leave the vehicle running, turn it on from inside the cab, around you come, and here you go. Okay, moving to the rear, guys, we've got Light Force rock lights up the top as well. You can actually aim these work lights if you are working in the back of the tray, if you're working on the trundle drawer, if you're doing some inland tracks at night time. Again, you can actually adjust all of those lights to suit. They are tightened with nylon lock nuts, so they're not going to just rattle loose. On the rear, obviously, you can see for the tradie spec side of what we're doing here, we've got the short tray sides with a drop down rear, and we've got the 1 meter trundle drawer underneath. So pulling that trundle drawer out, we have got a nice big stainless bench top with the gas strap lift up lid. That's obviously another GCI option. So fantastic unit there, fantastic bit of kit. And I know what it's like. Everyone's done it, at least anyone that's running with a trundle drawer. These slides are lockable. So when you do inevitably, for the one time, forget to put that trundle drawer back, the thing's going to stay out. It's not going to come into the back of the vehicle at 100k an hour as you hit the peaks. So that one, you just got the same dual tabs to release and put back and stow it away. And then the one last thing, guys, at the rear is going to be your washdown outlet underneath the tray here. Nice, simple one to use. Pretty much, guys, this is just about wraps up our Canopy combo, vehicle run through and whatnot. The last thing is just going to be a really nice, simple 40 litre Evercool fridge. Drawer fridge still gives you more than enough capacity for a weekend away, but it optimizes your canopy space. And again, leans into that work and play. You sort of need that bit of extra space for storage. You can still fit a full pack out system up on top of this fridge. And then obviously it just leans into a more universal and versatile setup. That's a wrap for today, guys. If you're looking at doing a build anything like this, get in touch today.